It's time for the Joe Show. 75 seconds of reflection for the Westerville school staff from your superintendent. And now, here's Joe.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Joe Show. It is Wednesday. We are midway through the week, and thanks for tuning in. So last week, if you remember, we had a contest, and the contest was you had to tell me a song that would get you out on the dance floor if you were at a wedding or some sort of party or whatever. And 234 of you entered the contest. That's outstanding. Thank you for participating. And really, the bulk of the answers fell into one of several different categories. Many of you chose something like a line dance, like electric slide, or the cha-cha slide, or the Casper slide, or those sorts of things. A lot of you chose those like old school classic rock songs, Celebration, old time rock and roll, Love Shack, a lot of Michael Jackson songs, Gap Band, Taylor Swift. Those were some of the groups. There were a lot of you who selected like 90s hip hop, or maybe even later than that. Yeah, or It Takes Two, or Get Low. What I was most surprised with, I DJ'd for 24 years. I probably did 1,000 weddings. I don't think I ever played this song, but it was the number one song you guys listed, which was I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston. However, I got to tell you this. I went to 6 weddings this summer because I've got a big family, and I heard it at every wedding, so it must be a new thing, but that was the number one song. Anyway, Kristen Patton, math teacher at Westerville North High School. She was randomly selected to win that crisp, clean $10 bill. And Kristen's song was Hey Ya, Hey Ya. And she took that $10 bill and she shook it like a Polaroid picture. All right, guys. Hey, I want to tell you a little bit more about my family this week. You're not going to, this is something that always amazes people. I'm the youngest of 11. I have 10 older brothers and sisters, but that's not it. My dad also has a twin brother who also had 11 kids. And we lived next door to each other growing up. So there were 22 Clark kids running around on the compound. And I'm going to, over the course of the next few years, I'm going to tell you lots of stories, I'm sure, about my brothers. But today I'm going to tell you a story about my sister Kelly. And I'm going to tell you the story because Kelly's birthday is Saturday, October 21st. Now, Kelly was the life of every party. She was, and she's the youngest sister, but she's 5 years older than me. Okay. So she would have been 58 this Saturday. And she was the life of every party. She was a huge Jimmy Buffett fan, a huge Bruce Springsteen fan. She loved the margaritas and the salsa and the chips. She loved driving around in her convertible. She was just the life of every party. When my sister Kelly was 15, she was a freshman in high school. My parents got a phone call from her PE teacher who said that she had a lump on her neck. And he was concerned about it. And he suggested my parents take her to the doctor to get that checked out. And they did. And it turns out it was Hodgkin's disease. My sister Kelly had Hodgkin's disease. She missed her entire freshman year of high school. She was on home instruction as she went through chemo and radiation and missed her whole freshman year, but she got through it. And she graduated high school. She went to college, got her master's degree, and she became a teacher. She was a 6th grade teacher with the Revere local schools. When Kelly was 30, she was driving her convertible, and she came to a 4-way stop, and she went to go through, and she got T-boned by somebody. Somebody ran through the stop sign. Now, she was not at fault for the accident, of course, but she noticed that she lost her peripheral vision. She did not see the car that ran the stop sign. So she went to the eye doctor. The eye doctor immediately noticed some swelling in her eye and sent her to the hospital, where that night they removed a softball-sized tumor from Kelly's head. That's when she was 30. Kelly survived that. She got married. She had 3 kids. And when Lexi was in 3rd grade and Garrett was in 2nd grade and Leanna was in preschool, Kelly went for a checkup, an annual checkup, and they started noticing that there were some spots now on her internal organs. The cancer had spread, and this time it was going to be fatal. They gave Kelly about a year to live with her kids, and so I can remember when the end was coming and Kelly was in the hospital. We had Garrett's first communion in her hospital room, and there were about 50 of us in this hospital room as Garrett made his first communion. And Kelly ended up passing away at 40 years old, with leaving 3 kids behind. But let me tell you about her funeral. It was a typical Kelly funeral, right? We had margaritas at her funeral, and we had chips and salsa, and Jimmy Buffett was playing, and it was really a celebration of life. And we came to find out that at her funeral, we came to find this out. After Kelly had learned that her cancer was fatal, she spent that last year of her life driving around to places that were special to her, videotaping herself, telling her kids stories about those places. So she went to where her first job was at the Ponderosa, and she went to where her first date was, and where she fell off the sliding board when she was a kid and had to get stitches. She went all around videotaping herself, telling the stories that she knew she was never going to have the chance to tell her kids as they grew older. And so this is why I think about this. I think about this story all the time because, first of all, 2 things are important here. One is you got to live your life. Kelly embraced life because she knew it was short, and it was far too short for her. But she lived every moment that she had, and I think it's important that we do that. We got to get off the couch, get outside, and live. Right? We got to do stuff. The other thing that Kelly did that was so impressive to me is she made sure she had a chance to tell her own story. She knew she was not going to get to tell her kids all those stories that she wanted to tell. So she videotaped herself doing that. Guys, take advantage of every opportunity to spend time with your loved ones, talking with them, sharing stories with them, because you never know when you won't be able to do that again. Tell your own story. Don't wait for other people to tell it for you. Now, here's the sequel to this story. Kelly's 3 kids, well, they grew up, of course. Leanna, who was in preschool at the time, when Leanna was just graduated high school, she was getting ready to go to Ohio State. Leanna found a lump on her neck, Hodgkin's disease. And she went and she got treatment. She missed her entire freshman year at Ohio State as she was getting chemo and radiation for that. But Leanna rang that bell. She's cancer free. And do you know what she's doing right now? Leanna is doing her internship in athletic training at Westerville North High School. Small world. So anyway, that's my sister Kelly. That's your story. Get off the couch, do some stuff, and tell your story when you get the chance to. Thanks for tuning in. I will do contests from time to time. So if you make it this far, there may be a contest, but not this week. So have a good week. Enjoy the next few days. Thanks for watching The Joe Show, and I'll see you next week.